my name is Beth, and I'm back today to record another live reading for you guys. I am going to be pulling some of the very special messages from my new Andromeda deck. I call it my Andromeda deck, but I showed you guys these themes, these love themes. I'm also going to be pulling some other cards from some of my other decks. So, I would be prepared for those as well. I kind of don't look like myself today because I didn't put on like my normal crazy makeup. I just didn't feel like it today. I wanted just to kind of go minimal today. So that's why I look a little bit different. I call this my I call this my George Washington look when I don't really have makeup on too much and my hair is kind of doing this thing. But I try to wear makeup like 100% of the time, but sometimes I just can't do it. I don't want to, so today was one of those days. But I'm actually excited about the energy today. I felt really grounded today. It's a beautiful day here where I live, and I posted so much yesterday, so much yesterday that I was like, okay, today, I'll maybe do some private readings, but, kind of taking it more easy. But I was like, I want to jump on and talk about the new fresh energy, once Mercury, stations direct. Mercury is stationing direct today. So today is May 14th. I'm recording this on the 14th of May. So I'm interested to see, like how the energy plays out and what the fresh energy looks like, and what's coming for love, obviously, because love is in the air. It's springtime. So yes, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Before I jump in, just want to let everybody know, just remind everybody that I have a housing crisis going on right now. So housing crisis means that I don't know where I'm going to be living in June. So if anybody wants to donate, I appreciate all donations. The links are in the description box below. It's $ OracleDaphne for Cash App. It's at OracleDaphne for Venmo, and the PayPal link is on my website. PayPal link is also in the description box. So all help is appreciated at this time for that. I lost my housing. They basically I had like one day to kind of come up with my rent for this month, so it's just not enough time. And so that's what's going on. And I am pulling some cards here. I want to lay out a spread and pull some cards just to talk about what I see. So fresh energy, that is the focus. Some of you are kind of hanging on by a thread. I am seeing that kind of dangling in the air. We got this hanged man. Some of you are, to me, that's like being overly tired, or, just being kind of drained. You may actually, this is going to sound interesting, be working on making friends. At this time, we have the Strength card. To me, anytime I see the Hanged Man, the Strength card in these positions, this is just tests from the universe. This is not forever. It's just tests from the universe. But like I said, the fresh energy might be working on friendships, meeting new people, things like that. For some of you, it's like hanging out with special people that you really vibe with. To me, it's like tribe energy. So could be also like hanging out with family, friends. It doesn't seem like in this reading that, like the spread that I laid out, it doesn't feel, what's it called, like as fresh as maybe you would want it to be. Like the element of the new, the element of the exciting, the element of the, like, what comes next. It feels like for some of you, that actually is a real challenge at this time. There's a lot of hot and cold energies. So like positive, negative cards. That tells me that that, yeah, so it just feels like maybe you get excited about something and then disappointed the next minute. Maybe it's like you have a good day and then like the following day it just goes to crap. It just feels very hot and cold, where it's like kind of inconsistent. It's hard to see um the element of the new. My guides are showing me new place of living for some, because this person is pointing up here, new place of living. To me, this is a house or apartment, new place of living. um for some of you, this isn't going to sound interesting. My guys are saying you're going to get new like bed sheets, or like you're going to get like new bedding, or for some like even new furniture. I'm seeing a couch, a chair. Um, to me, it just feels very comfortable and looks very comfortable. It might have some like rounder or more softer edges. To me, it's like, getting like a fluffy couch or comfortable chair. I'm seeing that. I'm trying to see like what else is fresh. To me, there's an element of adventure. Um, the thing that's fresh is maybe like perspective. um, or like say you're planning to go away somewhere. This could be a road trip, this could be travel. I'm seeing long distance travel for someone. My guides are showing me this reference, which is really hard to like articulate. It's like it's in them from the movie The Land Before Time, where they go to this place and they travel all this way, and there is this like one droplet on this leaf. And the thing about this is we got this Queen of Pentacles holding onto this leaf here. And it's there's so many things coming through. Like I almost like can't like dissect it. Okay. So the element of the hope, like the one droplet, is kind of like um it's it's kind of like the ace of cups, where it's like there's one drop of rain and then there's more. So to me, there's like maybe like a hope of something new. Could be again hope of housing, or hope of going somewhere. In The Land Before Time, they go on this trip. They're on this journey. It's like this adventure. So that's why I say it's like a new adventure, or something new that you're planning to do or wanting to do. That's what I'm seeing. But I'm also seeing it's like new hope for something. She's like holding on to hope for something. Could be the hope of a new relationship for some of you. Um, for some of you, it's like the hope of a new job. Others, it's going to be more the housing situation. The thing about the journey, from what I remember in the movie, like in The Land Before Time, the story is that the journey is not easy. And it kind of reflects that the journey of the Fool with the tarot, it reflects um our journey of life. It's not always easy, and we don't always get what we want. And it's um at times it's actually hard to hold on to hope for the new, or it's hard to hold on to the excitement of something. um I do feel like for some of you, you're going to get your hopes up on something, and you may feel very disappointed. Maybe like it doesn't work out, or you don't get approved for something. So let's just say, hypothetically, this is like you applying to like a new credit card or something, and you're all gung ho, and you're like, yes, I'm going to get it. My credit is great. Da 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 da. Maybe you worked on your credit for a long time. You go and you apply, and you don't get it. Um, I don't want to say like this is gonna be the case for everyone, but I feel like there's there's like two conflicting energies. There's like this energy of the new itself, or the hope itself, or like the excitement for the adventure itself, and then there's this energy of trying for something or going for something and being disappointed when you don't get it or it doesn't work out. And it's more of like the whole, kind of tests and lessons, like it's the journey rather than the destination kind of thing. So I just think that it's going to be different for everybody. This is where I would recommend private reading if you wanted to try to figure this out a little bit better. To me, it's a little bit more complicated. Let me see what else I see for like the new. I'm looking for fresh stuff. This is gonna sound weird. There's someone that's watching that has like farm animals. And I'm seeing a cow. I'm seeing like a steer actually, like it's a bull. Now, some of you may actually just be going to Texas, okay, or going to some place that has like longhorns, or like that has like farm, like you maybe be going to a farm, or maybe you live on a farm, or there's like farm animals. You might be getting a new like steer, or you might have farm animals or something around that line. I'm seeing specifically a bull. I'm seeing a steer. I'm seeing a longhorn. Go figure. Okay, so for some of you, like maybe, that live in Texas, this is just like gonna resonate in the sense where you do live in Texas. And yes, that I can see that. But I feel like for others, this is more farm stuff, or like getting like a new animal. And when I say like a new animal, I feel like it's an animal that isn't necessarily like going to be a pet. Like it doesn't feel like a pet to me. It feels like you're adding to your farm. That's what it feels like. I don't know why I'm seeing that, but I'm seeing that here. We got some interesting stuff going on, guys. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, sometimes I read and it's like, this to me, it always turns out differently than how I'm expecting it to go. Okay. And that's part of this, this energy. But I think that I was hoping for everybody that this was going to be like I said, kind of exciting. But to me, it seems actually more of a roller coaster ride. It seems like a roller coaster ride to me. That's what it seems like. It feels more of like a lot of stuff. We got the Lovers and the Tower, and I don't know what to make of that right now in this reading, because I'm specifically looking for fresh energy. So for someone, this is, the universe clearing the decks. Like this is where, you're no longer going to be in a partnership. Like this is breakup, divorce with someone. Okay, clearing the slate. And maybe that's what needs to come through. Like maybe the message here is you got to clear the slate first. You got to clear the deck. You got to say, okay, in order for the new to happen, we got to clear out the old. We got to get rid of the 15 X's on our cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's what this is. And I actually feel like this is at the tail end of this Mercury retrograde energy, which to me is about digging stuff up from the past so that you can really finally deal with it, so that you can deal with it, so you can release it, so you can let it go. It's sort of like the universe saying, okay, this is your time to clean out the skeletons in the closet. This is your time to get organized, to pull your shit together. This is the time in which you kind of get a little bit of a pause energy where things are kind of paused and maybe sliding a little bit backwards, but it's more of like this energy of like, okay, we got to revisit this so that we can really deal with it. Those of you who are not utilizing that energy, it's going to be very frustrating because you may want new things to happen, but it may be very disappointing that now might not be the time, or for whatever reason, or like things might not go the way you think that they're going to go. I feel like for some of you that are watching, this Tower Lover situation is something unexpected regarding a person in your life where, like, your partner comes out of the blue and is like, okay, it's time for a divorce, or like someone texts you and is like, okay, like, I think this is, I'm done with this relationship, or I'm done here. Something like that. Now, this is a future energy and it hasn't happened for some of you yet. So like to me, but this is again, clearing the slate for something new, something different. For those of you who are in like some kind of third party situation, this could have to do with that. To me, this is like an old third party situation. This is not like a new third party situation. This is something old. Like for those of you who've like been in a third party situation for a very long time, or when I say old, to me, like, because I'm looking at these acorns here. Okay, we got 3 acorns here. I'm talking about like maybe like say like you're dating someone, but like an ex pops up out of the woodwork, and you got to deal with that unexpectedly, and it may cause problems with the new relationship, or it might just be something that you're not expecting. And I'm getting confirmation on that. Like, so to me, it's like an old third party situation. Something that maybe you have to deal with. You might be tempted, like, say, like you're in a new relationship and you might be, that's very new because we have the Page of Pentacles. To me, that's new, it's young, that's fresh. Something that's very new, very fresh, and something from the past pops up. Like maybe because it, like I was learning about this recently, and I think I may have mentioned this. We can have multiple relationship contracts going at the same time, and that's not what they want to teach you in school, but that's what's the truth. Okay, the truth is we have multiple people happening all at the same time. We are polyamorous, so it makes it really complicated. I know, but I really just don't care. The problem that I have with third-party situations is that. Is the lying, is the shade, is the slime. It's not the fact that you're loving somebody else, or that you're wanting to be with another person, or that you wanting to even sample and try it out and take it for a test drive. It's not any of that stuff. The problem that I've always had with third party stuff is that it's just a bunch of BS when it comes to the lying, when it's just not. It's not directional. It's not healthy because it's not directional in the sense that like nobody knows where it's going. Nobody cares if it's going anywhere. Nobody cares if anybody gets hurt. Nobody cares if there's a lot of lies involved. I mean, it's just a it's just a crud, and nobody needs that. And it has nothing to do with everybody's ability to love each other, because I am always rooting for people to love each other more. I don't care if you have 10 partners that you love all of them, but the problem is that most likely, if you try to have 10 partners, you're gonna lie to someone. Someone is not gonna get the truth. And that's the problem. It has nothing to do with wanting to be with 10 people, or wanting to have 10 partners, or wanting to date 10 people, or wanting to sleep with all of them. It has nothing to do with that. Is that somewhere, someone down the line is gonna get hurt because A, it's really hard to keep everybody happy. B, there's some lies that are going to be involved because you have to lie at some point in order to smooth things over with someone who's, maybe jealous or upset or angry or hurt. I mean, it just, and I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying that most people lie. That's the truth. Most people lie to try to say something that's not true to make somebody feel better. It's very hard to speak the truth to 10 people that you're sleeping with, um, and keep everybody happy. I know from personal experience on this channel that every time I speak the truth, people have a hard time with it. Even in my readings, my private readings, it's hard for me as a person to speak the truth. I try to speak the truth 100% of the time, with very little deviation. I try to speak my truth, which is brutal, and more than other people, I feel. But nobody likes hearing the truth. So that's the problem, okay? But I'm digressing here. So let's go back to, now the Page of Pentacles might be someone you know, like say someone you know is in a relationship. Just could be like, to me this is a young student, or this could be even like a young daughter or son. Potentially, most likely this is female though, who's in a relationship that's gone bust. Now, I don't know who this is going to be to you. This could be someone that you know. This could be someone that's related to you, like I said. It could be a family member. This doesn't have to be, someone that you're involved with. But like, let's just say someone that you're involved with, okay, is, I want to say younger, younger than say 25 or younger, maybe even maybe 30 or younger, okay? 30 or younger, maybe they're in school, maybe they're working, doesn't matter, but to me, they're younger, and there's something that comes up here with this person. I don't necessarily feel like this person, there's cheating involved here, but I feel like there's something unexpected related to a relationship with this person. So again, this could be you, somebody you know, that has something unexpected happen, which again is clearing the slate for something new. We do have the Two of Pentacles here. So to me, those of you who are dating more than one person, again, this could be something that pops up with one of the people that you were talking to or dating or sleeping with. If you're wanting to I guess, wanting to know what's coming as far as like after this Mercury retrograde, I don't feel like the Two of Pentacles is anything new. I feel like the Two of Pentacles is kind of like this energy of like you're already gonna know. Like I feel like you're gonna know like if somebody's dating more than one person. That's what I want to say here. It's interesting, at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Ace of Pentacles showing up. Okay, and the Ace of Pentacles showing up here that's like new money. Making new money somehow. Maybe you're making it through some kind of new business or new job. To me, it's new money. It's not old money, because we are looking for fresh stuff here. So to me, money coming through some new channel, some new avenue, some new opportunity. It's interesting. We do have new money, but we also have old money showing up. Interesting. The new and the old. So because we have the Ten of Pentacles showing up as well. So you may be making some new money. You may be dealing with what would be considered like old money. Like old money is coming through like a parent or like an older relative, or it's coming through somebody else's income. Okay, so like it's not necessarily your income, like it's coming through somebody else. I generally see the Ten of Pentacles as being large chunks of change that comes through. It can come through in any way, but to me, this is a large chunk of change that comes through, and suddenly you're in the money. That's what I want to say. Suddenly you're in the money. What's that song? You're in the money. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. I don't know. I can't think of that song. Does anybody think of that song? What that song is? I can't think of that song. Um, Anyways, it's not coming to me. I'm gonna pull some of my love themes from my Andromeda deck and see what comes up. I do feel like someone is like already committed. Again, going back to what I said, it mimics this love is restriction is coming up. To me, it's like someone's already committed. Maybe you're interested in somebody who's already has made a commitment to somebody else, or that's there. There is this very, to me, the love as restriction is going back to what I said about this polyamorous thing, where it's like there's this restriction on in the world right now about who you love, who you date, how many people you sleep with, how many people you are dating. So for some of you, it's very important to keep an open mind at this time. I feel like people really, really stick to this or are trying to stick to this older model of what love is. And the older model of what love is, maybe the thing that's going away, you know, or maybe the thing that's trying to come back. Because again, it's interesting to me. It's like the interesting thing about love as restriction. Okay, going back to like, let's just say, the early 1900s. Okay, or yeah, early 1900s, where it's like, okay, 1910, 1920, women were expected to get married. Everybody was expected to get married, but women were expected to get married. That was the end of it. Like that was the thing. Women got married. Women got married and had children. To me, in some way, that's an old model because it has to do with restriction. Like it was like, okay, there was really no option. There was no birth control. There was no like option for women as far as like how to make money and survive on their own. So essentially it was you have to get married. You have to get married. You have to have children. That's the only way. And to me that's very restrictive. That's not very progressive. It's very restrictive. So you know, if we're looking at the old model of what's going away and the new model is understanding that to me people are or should be able to be in a relationship to whoever they want to be in a relationship to, and they should be able to survive without having to depend on a marriage partner or without having to get married. Okay, so it's to me like that's the newer model. So this to me is a theme that's really coming up. This has come up many times. It's come up in conversations. It's come up just when I look at, you know, things online. It's like everywhere right now. It's sort of like, you know, to me, that's the energy of wanting to be with someone, but not being able to for whatever reason. Wanting to get married to someone who you just want to be with, wanting to have something with someone maybe technically you shouldn't because maybe technically they're in a relationship or maybe technically you're in a relationship or maybe technically you're married or they're married or something, you know? There's all this very restrictive element, but it's also restricting, you know, restrictions as far as like gay and lesbian couples and things like that too. And I've said before, and I will say it again, that to me is going to become a real problem in our society. I don't know when that will be happening or how soon that's happening. I feel like it's already starting to happen, but I feel like that's going to become there's a real shift for that, a real push for that. And I'm not excited about that, but I see that as being a theme here. I added this one today, which I haven't talked about yet on any of my posts. In the story of Andromeda, okay, in the Greek myth, basically she faces the end of her life as she knows it, okay? So, this, for those of you who aren't familiar with the story, Andromeda is chained to a rock as a sacrifice to save the country that they're living in, and she's chained to a rock by her family, and this she's made into a sacrifice. And basically, what happens is that she is chained to this rock, and there's this sea creature that's about to destroy the country, but she's there basically to tempt him, to distract him, to get him not to do what he's gonna do. He's just kind of like a little bit of bait. It's like a worm, okay? And that's what they've done to her. So basically, she's there chained to a rock, and she's facing the end of her life as she knows it. Like, she knows she's going to die. She's looking at it like, okay, the end of life is here, and this is what's happening, okay? So she has to come to terms with the reality of the situation. Now, she doesn't end up dying because this dude Perseus comes by and rescues her. But in the story, she doesn't have the foreknowledge that this dude is going to come by to marry her and save her and all this other stuff in the myth, okay? So basically, she has to face the facts of her life when she's chained to that rock. She's like, okay, I've got to really face the reality here. And to me, it's kind of like the theme of love as like an ending of sorts. Now, some of you may think you're going to get into a relationship and then all your problems are going to go away. You may think that you're going to get into a relationship and, you're going to be together forever, or there's never going to be anybody else. Or for some of you, you may feel like you've already had a run of relationships and you may feel like you're at the end, like there's nothing else. Like maybe you're like, I'm never going to date anyone else again, or I'm never going to get married, or blah, blah, blah. You may feel like it's just never going to happen for some of you. Okay, you may be facing some kind of reality check where it's like, okay, if Mr. or Mrs. Right was going to come along, they probably would have come along by now, such and such an age, I feel like it's harder to be single as you get older, kind of thing. So some of you that may be where you're at. But I also feel like this is interesting because, in my estimation, facing life and facing reality and having like a reality check is not just about relationships. It's also about like deciding whether you want to. It's kind of like deciding whether you want to become an adult, whether you want to like actually take on the responsibilities of becoming an adult, actually take care of your health, actually take care of things in your life, actually start to grow a pair and show up for people in a real way. And so the two choices, it's sort of like facing, I think of this as like the apocalypse, and I can go really over the edge with this tangent because of all the stuff that's happening right now in the world. So basically, if we're looking at love as a theme of an ending, if we are thinking about the apocalypse, you have really two choices. If we are in the apocalypse, let's just say, the choice is to eat as much ice cream as you possibly can because it's the apocalypse. Just go ahead and eat as much ice cream as you possibly can and just say, fuck it, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Or you can face up to your responsibilities. You can understand that there's a reality check going on and understand that you can, let's just say, prep and prepare for some bad shit to happen, even if it doesn't, and be smart and be wise and take proactive steps to think about the future in a very real way, as if it is ending. Or as if there is going to be an ending. Okay, kind of like what I talked about. I talked about this like in some of my other videos where I talked about how I felt that, and I saw in my mushroom cloud video that there was going to be one, and that World War III was a distinct possibility, and that you basically have two choices. You can prepare for that or not. You can check out. You could say, you know what? I'm just going to go over here and smoke as much weed as humanly possible. Or I'm just going to go over here and eat as much ice cream as humanly possible. Or I'm just going to totally blank out on this whole thing and pretend it's not even happening. Or you can be like, okay, I'm going to be the adult here. Maybe it's time for me to get some new socks and some new underwear and like pack a bag and like, okay, be like, all right, I've got some food stored and I've got some clothes set up, and maybe, start to think about planting a garden this season. Something like that versus just checking out. Okay. So these are some of the themes. This is like a theme. Okay. The love part is like kind of coming to this place of like, like maybe you're over love. Maybe you're thinking you're at the end of the love. But to me, it's the twist about this thing is that in the story, it wasn't the end. And peace can still happen. And World War III might not happen. And if we're doing our best to stay in the moment, but we're also being wise and smart about everything that we're doing, then we'll be prepared if it does happen. And really, really happy if it doesn't. So to me, it's kind of like, hitting a bottom breaking point or whatever. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Did I tell you guys a story of how I became a mother to a whale? Did I tell you guys about that? I don't think I did on this channel, but I became a mother to a whale. Like back, I think it was 2019, I think. I have the ability to go to do a lot of shamanic journey and things like that. And I ended up, for a whole bunch of reasons, connecting with this whale family. And I ended up basically in spirit kind of adopting this young whale calf. And I learned about motherhood through that experience in spirit. And the whale calf, she ended up getting, finding her partner and all that stuff too. So it's actually very interesting because that's what happened to that whale calf, but in spirit, and she ended up growing. So but it talks a lot about, our limited thinking about motherhood. It's funny, like, I don't know why I'm talking about this since it's Mother's Day, but for a long time, like, I actually wanted to get my tubes tied when I was 25. I was very young. All I wanted was to have my own apartment. I wasn't thinking about having children. I just really wanted to get into a relationship that made me feel loved, and to have like a real relationship that I felt like comfortable in. And I always thought, okay, if I find that, then at that point, I'll have the conversation about having children. And I'm 41, so it's like I'm an older late bloomer, but it doesn't matter. So essentially, the conversation was back then, with myself, was that I didn't want to have children, but I also was never taught that it was okay to have children. I was taught, I was in a very religious household, and my family was heavily like, no, you can't date. No. It's almost like love is bad kind of thing. Okay. No sex before marriage. You got to get married, all this stuff. And, I didn't want marriage. I just wanted to be in a partnership. I wanted to have somebody that I could be comfortable with before I had that conversation about, children and having children and all that stuff. So I want to talk about where I was going with this. So yeah, I'm talking about this because I didn't really understand all that stuff that goes into motherhood. Like, I went on dates and stuff, and that, if somebody asked me if I wanted kids, I always kind of froze in that moment because I couldn't figure out like if I was really, I don't know, ready to have children in the sense that I don't think I gotten to that point where I felt like I could see it for myself, or that I could see it for um I don't know, see it as being like a reality for me, which is interesting because we got these two kids going by. Okay, so the funny thing is that I saw this, I started to okay, get really serious about, looking at like what exactly is involved in, like, just say like pregnancy, and what's involved in raising a child. And like I came up with all these lists, and I kind of went into what, kind of being more prepared, but I didn't really understand uh like how, like, the work involved, until I saw this video. I think her name is Kenzie Cooper. For those of you who like want to kind of do like some prepping as far as like, if you're prepping for motherhood, let's just say you're pregnant, you're prepping for motherhood. She did this amazing video. It was like her morning routine. And I'm going to tag her below once this video is posted, for those of you who want to check her out. Because it wasn't until I watched that video where I was like, well, I could do this. Like, I didn't really understand what was involved. And I think that there's a real need, and I truly believe there's a real need in our culture to have these really important conversations with young people about what exactly involved, what exactly you're going to need, what exactly a morning routine is going to look like with a new baby, how many onesies you're going to need, how many bottles you're going to need, all that stuff. Like, to me, it's just like, because I was raised in this, like, no, it's, no, you can't do that. No, 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 no. I wasn't shown like what it was going to be like, mother. I wasn't shown what it was going to really entail, what it was going to cost, all the things that I was going to need. I wasn't shown like how to take care of a newborn. There was only one time in school, like, it wasn't even school. Like, we went to this, like, it was some kind of field trip that my class took when I was in 5th grade, and they taught us about a baby by carrying around like a bag of flour. And I was like, I don't know, like, it really didn't make much sense to me, and I was too young to really care at the time. And I just couldn't really identify with it. I had a real struggle with identifying with it because, again, I had never been shown what it would be like to have a newborn. Until I watched that Kenzie Cooper video, I wasn't ready. I didn't know, because I had never been taught, because there was no education about what is it that it's going to take to become a mother. So I think it's really important for those of you who, like, again, who are, thinking about parenthood and stuff like that. I'm going to leave the link to that video below. That video changed like my perspective. I was like, okay, I feel like I could do this. Like, I feel like I get it now. Like, before, I just didn't get it because nobody had explained it to me. Nobody said, this is what it's going to take. This is what it's really going to be like. And you can really do this. And I think that in our culture, people get thrown into parenthood or motherhood, and they don't really know what it's going to be like. They have no clue what it's going to cost them. They don't know what it's really going to take. And I think that's the learning curve. And I think that's the interesting part about motherhood. And I also think, I'm just going to say this here, that relationships are significantly lagging behind when it comes to these real conversations about having a child, what it's going to cost. I actually had, like, I dated somebody who a long time ago, and then we ended up becoming friends a long time ago. This was a really long time ago, where I said, I looked it up online and I was like, at that time, I think it was going to cost like something like between like 15 and $16,000 to have a baby, and I don't know how much it is exactly at this point. I know that it's probably more depending on what kind of delivery you have and the kind of things that you have in the hospital and where you have the child. There's a lot more like home births and stuff like now. But like the funny thing is that like at the time I was like, like he eventually got into a relationship and he started talking about like wanting to have children, and I was like, how can you do that? I was like, it's going to cost you like $16,000 to have a child. He's like I don't even want to think about that. He's like, that's not even part of the conversation. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's just not. I was like, why not? um it was just interesting that like he didn't think it was a factor, even though he couldn't afford it. And again, those are very hard conversations to have. There's a lot of people who have children who can't afford it, but they don't know that it's going to cost them like $15,000, or they don't know that it's going to cost them whatever. So I think it's just part of the conversation to have. How much it's going to cost, what it's really going to take, and that's part of being responsible, I think. And it's interesting. This is coming up here because obviously about facing the responsibilities of life, and I think that becoming a parent, becoming a mother, there is a responsibility to children and to take care of them in the best way possible and to give them the best life and to give them every opportunity that you possibly can. So I don't know, it's just an interesting conversation to have. So I appreciate Stan wishing me happy Mother's Day, and I also want to say motherhood is not limited to just having like birthing a child physically. It's just not. You can mother, again, you can mother a whale in spirit. You could mother any, and I've talked about this before, that the mothering that I felt that I needed the most and the most appreciated was from a mother bear in spirit. There was a time in which I felt very like scared and very vulnerable. And all of a sudden I saw this bear come into my room, and I started like these. It was a mother bear with two cubs, and then there was a male bear as well, and they kind of surrounded me, and I felt really, really protected, and I felt really loved. And you know, we have such limited ideas about what motherhood is, and that you can connect to, let's just say, a mother bear, but you can also mother, a lot of people have pets, and you can mother those pets, and you can also feel like you can mother your plants. So there's all these kind of limiting ideas that people have about motherhood. But for those of you who out there who is open to that conversation, I think it's a really cool one to have. And I guess I'm here just to be a light and tell you that even if you don't have a mother at this time, and if you ever feel like you need protection, or if you ever feel like you need mothering or nurturing, you can always call on the mother bear spirit. You could always call on like the mother dog spirit. You can also call on the mother whale spirit, or mother dolphin spirit. I mean, there's female energies that are supportive, whether you see them or not. Okay, they're there, and they're protective, and they're kind, and they're loving. So, yeah. I want to see. I'll pull some other cards here and see what I get. Just want to make sure of my time. I'm at 48 minutes. Okay. It's very interesting. These love themes are really mimicking what I'm pulling up in these cards. So there's a lot of mixed messages. We have the theme of war and peace. The war and peace energy to me is about thinking of love as like a contract, which is really interesting because this whole reading, like I've been talking about motherhood, and I've been talking about relationships, and I've been talking about different types of relationships that we have. And love is the theme of war and peace, is really an interesting one because, okay, like if we go back to the story, let's go back to Andromeda in the Greek myth. Okay, she was used as a negotiating tool in a time of war. Okay, so basically the theme of war back then in that myth, okay, was very present. And the theme of the peace energy, after Perseus freed her, and she had some personal peace and she could finally rest and she could sit down, is also there as well. So to me, um, it's also coming up, with the whole contractual like agreement thing. She ends up getting married to Perseus. She ends up going to Greece with Perseus and getting married to him. So essentially, um, for some of you, the concept of love that you may have right now is like you might have this very control understanding of love. To me, it's a little bit more rigid than some of the other themes. This is the outcome. And the thing that you're going to be learning through this experience with people in your life, but it can always shift, is understanding that it's sort of like understanding that if you were to get married, that it's a piece of paper, it's a contract, it's just a piece of paper. Yes, it's an agreement. Yes, but at the same time, we are in the matrix. None of this is real. This is all simulation. So if this is all simulation, then this whatever contract you've got essentially doesn't mean that much unless it's real. Unless it's real to you and it's real to the other person. So it's like everybody, it's sort of, again, going back to that old energy, that 1910, 1920s energy of everybody getting married, everybody needing to get married, everybody signing the dotted line that, yes, I'm getting married to this person, so-and-so. And it's very contractual. It's very like, we have an agreement, we're getting married, blah, 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 in the end. But the theme of this is about how it's, even if you have a contract, even if you have an agreement, it doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be peace. It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody can rest because you're married, or that everybody can live happily ever after because you're married. It's like talking to like an older person and them asking you if you're married or if you're dating. And if you were to tell them that you were to lie and say, yes, I'm married, then they're going to be like, oh, that's so great. And they're going to be so happy for you. And they're going to be like relieved. There's a relief that comes with like the perception of like somebody being married. But the reality check is that people that are actually married have problems just as much as they were to have them if they weren't married. Essentially, to me, this is a little bit more complicated. I don't want to go too far into that, but I guess I'm just going to say it's a little bit more complicated and it can go back and forth. Some days when you're in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship, and other days you don't want it at all. And that's a fact. And it's just, I feel like there are people that are very consistent, like they're very, very straight line, and they get into relationships, so they see like love as a contract. They see it as, if you're going to date me, then we're going to get married. Or if you're going to date me, it's going to lead to some kind of contract. It's going to lead to some kind of agreement. Again, it's a perspective. It's something to think about, to be aware of. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be happy. It's, to me, the illusion of the contract is that it's going to be a flimsy piece of paper unless it's real. Unless, for whatever reason, you've met somebody who you really, really love, and you can really, really like spend a lot of time together and not want to kill each other. It is rare. It's also a declaration or a proposal of marriage, or something declaring their love and saying, I really love you, blah, 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 blah. For some of you, maybe you want that to happen. Maybe you're hoping for that to happen. But for some of you, plan to do that. Like, it's a declaration. Like, you're like, okay, I really need to tell this person I love them, or I need to really, tell this person like I really want to be with them, or I really want to get a relationship. Something like that. But to me, it's a little bit more complicated than some of these other themes. I do feel like for some of you, you really want to nail down a relationship with someone. I do feel that. I feel like some of you really need to work on your fears of loss first, though, because we also got the theme of love is vulnerability. So some of you, you may be dealing with someone who has fears, who's just afraid to be committed. Like you might want to be committed, but maybe somebody else just is too afraid to be committed. That's like something that's coming through here. I actually feel like for some of you, it's your love life is very complicated. It's not as simple as, okay, you getting into a relationship, you meeting the love of your life, you getting into a relationship and you getting married. It's just not that simple. But I'm not surprised. My channel has a lot more complicated, like, people, my clients are a little bit more complicated than just that. So I'm going to see if there's any other cards and anything else that wants to come through here. Oh, my battery is dying. Guys, I have to go. My battery's about to die. My last message for you is to try to keep things light. Try to keep things light as much as possible, okay? And try not to get kind of sucked down into like trying to lock things in. Be open. Be open to new experiences. When you start to become more open, then I feel like things will naturally happen better for you. And it's so weird because we got this. I wanted to pull this one last card and I dropped it. It's the Sage card and it talks about clearing the way. Clearing out the old, clearing the way for the new. So that's like the main theme of this message. Letting go, maybe it's time for some of you who are watching to schedule a reading with me, maybe do some cord cutting, letting go of some older relationships. Really doing some spiritual healing, spiritual clearing to let go of people that are no longer in your life. I feel like some of you are very much hanging on to some older relationships, so you're just not quite over them yet. That's what I want to say. I think I'm going to leave off here. Thank you guys so much for being amazing fans and followers. I send everybody big hugs, big kisses. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Please give me a thumbs up. Really helps. All the videos that have gotten thumbs up, seem to be doing a lot better. If you leave my playlist going, it really helps the watch time for my channel. And I wish you guys all the best. I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye, guys.